That's Soda Pup.
Hello, and welcome to the Soda Pup Enrichment Lab podcast, where we speak to experts, authors, practitioners, and brands about canine enrichment practices. Join us as we learn from our guests how to help our dogs lead a happier, healthier, and more enriched life. And now, here's your host, Chris Chandler.
So today I have with me Santa, which is really exciting.
Ho, ho, ho!
Otherwise known as Soda Pup's founder, Adam Baker. And he is here today to give us a preview of what is coming up for the holiday season. So Santa, take it away.
All right. So for those of you that know Soda Pup and have known us for several years, we do have quite a few holiday products, and we have some rubber products, rubber treat dispensers. We have some nylon chew toys, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. But I want to talk about the new stuff because that's always the most fun for me. So this year we have, and all of these things are actually available on our website now. So and I know that this is a podcast.
And let me just add that for those of you who are listening and not viewing, we'll try to give you a little description of the product, but also the links to the products will be in the show notes for viewers and listeners.
And also a link to the YouTube version of the podcast so that people can watch it as well.
Great.
So many of you know that we have a product called the Honey Pot, and this is an open-topped treat dispenser. We call it an E-cup, an enrichment cup. It's very, very popular, and we always get requests for new colors. And so for Christmas, and maybe forever, we have introduced a red version of the Honey Pot. Kind of looks like Santa's bag.
A little bit, yeah.
And I love this color. Red's actually my favorite color. I would do everything in red if I could. But anyway, so we've got a red honey pot. So we're super excited about that.
And can you just tell us a little bit, for maybe people who aren't familiar with the honey pot, how people use it with their dogs?
Yeah. So a lot of people actually use it as a way to give their dog a meal. Now, it's obviously not big enough for all size dogs to hold a full meal. What makes the honey pot especially useful is that it doesn't have a vent hole on it because it doesn't need a vent hole because the opening is really, really wide. So it allows you to put you could put broth in there, you could put moist foods in there, and you're not going to get any leakage. And so what a lot of people do is they'll put things like raw in there, or they'll mix up freeze-dried food with water and pack it, and then they'll put it in the freezer, and then that creates a really long-lasting type of enrichment challenge. We also have this product coming in another size. We don't have the inventory yet, but not only is the honey pot available in this size, which is the original large, but we will have an extra large, and it'll get here just in time for Christmas, probably the end of November.
And what colors are we going to have in the extra large?
We will have the same colors that we have in the large. So we'll
including
have
the
yellow,
red?
of course. Yep, we'll have the red, we'll have the yellow, we'll have the bright blue, and we'll have the pink.
Right.
So, yeah, so we're super excited about this. We're excited about the honey pot in general because it's such a popular item. So much fun for us to see folks on Instagram and other socials, how they're using it. But it's perfect for moist foods because it can't leak.
Well, and can I just add too with the honey pot? So with our dog, one of the ways I use it, and I have several, is that I use it just for nose work. So I will put I have 6 or 7. I'll put them in the living room.
Where did you get all those honey pots?
I don't know. I will pretend to be hiding a treat in all of them. I will only put a treat in one while the dog is sitting, and then I tell her to go find it, and then she will search each pot and find the one that has the treat in it. And she gets very excited about that game. So that's another way that you can use the honey pot.
That's like the dog version of the upside down cups where you put
The
something
shelving.
underneath and mix them all around.
Yeah.
Good. So that's the first item. The second item is it's actually a bowl, slow feeder bowl. And so our slow feeder bowls are quite popular, and we do lots of novelty designs. And we wanted to do something special for Christmas. And so we actually have two. And the first one is in my favorite color. It is red, and it is called the Santa Bowl, and we have Santa's face in there. And so this is very similar to our other slow feeder bowls. So it's 2 inches deep, it's 8 inches across. And this one is, I would say, moderately difficult. There's some big chambers around the edges that will be quite easy for a dog. And there's a couple of segments in the middle of the bowl, like in here, that will be a little bit more challenging for a dog to get foods out. So we've got the Santa Bowl that's just available in red. And it came out really great. We're super pleased with the results. So that's the first one. Obviously, very Christmas specific. And then the second bowl is it's definitely Christmas oriented or seasonal oriented, and it is the Pine Trees Bowl. Now, of course, the Pine Tree Bowl isn't just a Christmas product. It could be any time of year. We didn't put so for those of you that are listening, not watching, this has 3 pine trees. The pine tree in the middle is the deepest, and then the ones on the edges are a little bit shallower. And we didn't put Christmas decorations on it, so it's not strictly Christmas. And for those that don't celebrate Christmas but celebrate the season, this is a nice option. So that is the pine trees.
And can you tell us, both for the Santa Bowl and this bowl, what's the advantage of having the segmented parts of the bowl? And then also, will you tell us with the Pine Tree Bowl what difficulty level you would consider that one for a dog?
Yeah, so I'll start with the difficulty. Again, this one is going to be more of a moderate difficulty, and it's based on the size of each of the chambers as well as the depth of the chamber. So we should probably just back up and talk about what a slow feeder bowl is and why we use it. So many dogs tend to eat their food very fast. When a dog eats their food fast, they're not really producing enough saliva to match the amount of food that they're taking in. So it affects their gut health. They're not digesting the food as well as if they slowed down. They would consume the same amount of food, but they will have produced quite a bit more saliva while eating the meal. So it's much healthier for a dog to slow down. Of course, dogs have evolved to have natural foraging instincts. And so if you're foraging for food, you're not eating everything at once. You're foraging, so you're getting little bits as you find things. And so actually feeding a dog in a bowl is kind of unnatural for a dog.
Just a regular dog bowl, right?
Just a regular dog bowl is kind of unnatural for a dog. And it's not really the best way for them to eat. And yet it's kind of the most common way that people feed their dogs is just pour a bunch of food, pour a bunch of kibble in a stainless steel bowl and their dog gobbles it down. So slow feeder bowls create that challenge. But there are also mental benefits for the dog because they have to use their brain to figure out how to get the food out. And so what's interesting is that research has shown that dogs actually prefer to use a slow feeder bowl versus a regular bowl. And so they're choosing the challenge over an easier meal if they use the other bowl. So it's kind of interesting that the dogs actually like to use their brains to get their food. And then the other thing that we find...
Can I just also say that links to something that one of our guests a little while back told us, Megan Wolfgram from Swift Paws, and there's some research cited in the show notes to that show, that other research that shows that dogs prefer, like if you're giving dogs treats, they prefer a reward that they have had to show some effort
Work.
for, than
Yeah.
just giving them for nothing. So that goes,
Yeah.
lines up with that.
So I'm just the opposite. If I had a plate of food in front of me and then the option to have to go forage for my food, I would just take the plate of food. But I
That's
guess
because you're a lab.
I wouldn't be a good dog. Exactly. I'm a lab. So I'm going to go straight for the easiest meal. The other thing that's interesting, and again, when we started this business, I mean, we've learned so much as we've gone along in the business, and we've learned from the people that purchase our products. But dogs like to use different bowls. So many people will buy, not one, they'll buy two, three, four. I was looking at a TikTok the other day, and they were preparing a week's worth of meals and popping it in the freezer so they could just grab and go during the week. They had four of our bowls, and every bowl was different. And so they're also giving their dog different challenges each day. So I hadn't thought about that, but I mean, we're obviously happy that people are using a variety of different products, whether they're ours or other brands. So, so the new things for this holiday are the red honey pot, and then these two new slow feeder bowls, the pine trees and the Santa bowl. So there are a couple of other things that are new-ish. We introduced them last year, which are also great holiday products that I love. The first one is the Gnome. And so this is, again, for those listening, this is a green, it's kind of like a garden gnome or a Santa's elf, if you like. And what makes this product unique is the opening at the bottom. So a lot of our treat dispensers have teeth blocking the entrance. So, for example, this is our Christmas tree, and there's teeth. And so a product like this is great for putting dry kibble in because the teeth prevent the kibble just from falling out, and the dog has to work to get the kibble out. But we had introduced a product last year, I guess it was a couple of years ago, and it didn't have teeth on it. And people loved that product because it was ideal for raw feeding. And the reason it's good for raw feeding with the big opening without teeth is that it's easier to clean, which becomes even more important when you're feeding raw food. And so with this product, we went with the wide opening at the bottom, which makes it great for raw and for stuffing with wet foods as well. And of course, we have this product called the Unstoppables. And so for a product like the Gnome, you have a small vent hole at one end, and then you've got the big hole where you put the food. And so then if you want to put moist food in here, things that might leak, if you want to put broth or whatever, then you can use one of our Unstoppables. So these are these, as you can see.
And so for those of you who are just listening, it's like a little base with a plug that goes into the vent hole, and that allows you to balance the toy on the counter while you're stuffing it. But then if you are freezing it, you can also put it in the freezer and it doesn't leak all over the freezer while it's hardening.
Yeah, and these come in a 4-pack because a lot of people, again, one of the things we've learned is people buy not just one treat dispenser. Like people have, I mean, if you look on social media, people have 20, 30 different treat dispensers. It's insane. And so they'll do all their prep at once. And so it's nice to have a little tool like the unstoppable stoppers, because you can line up all your toys, you plug the hole so it won't leak, it stands up, you pop it in the freezer, it won't tip over. So I really like the Gnome. He's super cute. And he's not just seasonal, he's a garden gnome as well as a Christmas elf. So that's a great product. And then another product that we introduced last year is these jelly molds.
Wow.
And these are Christmas specific. So we have Santa and stockings and snowmen and gifts. And the reason we did the jelly molds is because we have this product called jelly shots. And you might think, well, what's a jelly shot? I know jelly shots from college. Actually, I don't. For those of you watching and listening, Chris is my wife, and I don't have a jelly shot experience with her in college, so I have to be careful.
So he can't tell the stories.
So anyway, basically, jelly shots is like Jello for dogs. And you mix it up a little bit at a time. You pour it in your jelly mold, pop it in the fridge, and 40 minutes later, you've got a gelatin treat for your dog. And of course, gelatin is full of collagen, which is great for your dog's joints and coat and skin. So, so we've got the jelly shots, and then we've got the jelly molds. We also have one other kind of food-based, well, pretty much everything we do is a food-based enrichment product. I failed to grab it, so I'm just going to walk over there and grab it. I'll be right back.
Okay. Can you give us a hint of what it's going to be?
Well, it's a lick mat.
A lick mat. Okay.
And again, we introduced this, I don't remember if it was last year or the year before. And this one is called Peace, as in peace on earth.
Yeah.
Which we could use a lot more of.
Nice, like little,
and so this
little tree
it's a pattern
design,
of trees.
I was going to say abstract. It's not abstract, but it's like trees fitted together right side up and upside down. Little pine, like
it's basically
like a Christmas tree style.
It's a pine tree pattern, and no matter which way you hold it, you see right side up. And then one of them we've filled in and put little Christmas decorations on, which gives it a little bit of a Christmas vibe. Although again, just like our pine tree bowl, it can be kind of a year-round type
sort of seasonal.
Yep. And so, and I would say that this one is a moderate difficulty. So if people watching know our product line, the jigsaw is super hard. And then we have some that are really easy, like the bonus mat. And this one is kind of an in-between. So one of the things we've learned because of our dogs is that different dogs have different food drives, right? So
and different frustration tolerance as well.
Exactly. And so if you give a dog who's not that food motivated, like Sugar Plum, she gets frustrated. She just gives up, but she just loses interest. While other dogs like Buddy, the black lab, he's very food motivated and will never give up. And so one of the things we've done with our lick mats and our dog bowls and our e-trays, which are the shallow bowls, is we've built different levels of difficulty into them so that you can kind of match the food drive of your dog with the difficulty of the product. And so it's kind of like at a ski area, you can go down the bunny hill or you can go down the double black diamond. And so you have to pick the right slope for your capability. And so that's what we've built into these products.
And the products are labeled based on their difficulty, and that's indicated on the website as well. So if you know your dog, then you can choose the level that you want.
Yeah, and some of it's intuitive. I mean, you can look at the pattern and think and kind of figure out whether your dog's going to be able to manage it or not. And then, so everything else that we have that's Christmas related has been in our product line for several years now. So I'll just mention them really briefly. We talked about the rubber Christmas treat dispenser.
Yep.
This one does have teeth in the bottom, so it's great for kibble. We have a red snowman,
cute.
also a treat dispenser, also with teeth in the bottom. These teeth are not quite as big, so it's a little bit easier to get things in and out of that one. And then we also have a gift box. It's actually great for Christmas because it's in red. But if you celebrate your dog's birthdays, it's a good birthday gift as well. And we talked about the Gnome. And then we've got the red honey pot. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 different kind of rubber treat dispenser options in the product line for Christmas. And then for nylon, we have a combination of different types of nylon products. So one of the most popular is our candy cane. So this is just a straight up chew bone, right? So like, people might be familiar with Benebone or Nylabone. Dogs don't really care if a toy is shaped like a bone or not. And so we've got the candy cane, which serves as a great bone toy. The gingerbread man has been incredibly popular for many, many years now. And we actually sell this really well, not just at Christmas, but year round. People buy this. So that's always been a bit of a surprise to me that people would buy it in the middle of the summer, but they do. So that's a really, really popular one as well. And then we've got the snowflake. Now, what makes the snowflake unique is we call this an e-chew, an enrichment chew. So it is a nylon chew toy, but we've put, as you can see, we've put the snowflake pattern on the surface. And so you can actually smear soft foods into that. So you can smear peanut butter, pumpkin puree, variety of different foods. And so it also doubles as a licking device. And so just like we have e-bowls, which is an enrichment bowl, we have e-mats, which is an enrichment lick mat, we have e-dispensers, and so on, e-cups. We also have the e-chew. Not all nylon toys are e-chews, like the candy cane isn't, but the snowflake was designed to be a licking device as well. And then we have our nylon Christmas tree. Again, just a great straightforward chew toy. And then last but not least, we have Frosty.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm probably not supposed to call him Frosty.
Probably
We
not.
have a snowman. We have a snowman.
Snowman.
Yep, a nylon chew toy snowman. So we've got all kinds of ways to celebrate the holidays.
Great. So
Yep.
if your dog is needing something for the holidays, you've got a lot of choices: nylon, rubber, lick mats, and slow feeder bowls.
Yep.
All right. Is there anything
Fill
else?
up those stockings.
I'm sorry. Yeah, fill up those stockings. Yeah. Fluffy really, really wants a chew toy or a slow feeder bowl for the holidays.
I should probably make a little clump of coal for certain dogs.
Maybe, yeah. A nylon lump of coal.
or a rubber lump of coal.
Hopefully nobody's putting one of those.
That's Sodapup.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Soda Pup Enrichment Lab podcast. We hope you've learned new ways to keep your dog enriched and entertained. You can find more information about our guest and how to contact us in this episode's show notes. You can find this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. You can also view it on the Soda Pup Enrichment Lab YouTube channel and on our website at sodapup.com. If you enjoyed this episode, you can help us by subscribing, by recommending the podcast to others, and by leaving a review. Thanks. We'll see you next time.